This video is brought to you by Bitbox NES game cases. There is no better way to protect, store, and show off your NES game collection. Only available at stoneagegamer.com/bitbox. Skip it up and that up. I saw this coming a mile away. I think a lot of people did. I'm not going to make it like I'm the Dionne Warwick of gaming, but on June 9th, 2014, Microsoft is going to be selling a Kinectless Xbox One for $399, making the Xbox One the same exact price as the PlayStation 4. This is what Phil Spencer had to say about it. We've heard that you want more choices from Xbox One. You want a wide variety of options in your games and entertainment experiences, and you also want options in your hardware selection. To be clear, as we introduce this new Xbox One console option, Kinect remains an important part of our vision. My ass. Now, Phil goes on to say, 80% of Xbox One users actively use Kinect with over 120 voice commands per month. They say 120 things to Kinect, which I'm sure 99% of those things they say are just Xbox on. But whatever. I'm actually not here, shockingly, to shit on Microsoft with this video. I'm going to be one of the few people that applaud them, because they're actually taking bold steps, unlike a lot of other corporations, to fix their mistakes, and they're fixing them fast. I mean, think about Sony during the PlayStation 3 era, how long it took them to turn around the PlayStation 3. Really, if you think about it, I would say 2009-ish is when the PlayStation 3 started turning around for the better, and it became a viable option in the 7th gen. But some people would even say 2010. It took them almost 3 years. Some people may say 4 years to salvage the PlayStation 3 because they were thick. They wouldn't listen to the consumer. Nintendo, for Christ's sake, they still think it's 1994. They still think they're back in the 16-bit era with how they handle especially their home consoles. I mean, the 3DS to me is an enigma that it's doing so well. They should be grateful that the 3DS is doing as well as it is, but they also don't listen as well. Their investors bang on their doors telling them to change shit, and Nintendo's just like, la 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 la. So I know a lot of people are going to say, hey Rich, this is probably because the investors are pressuring Microsoft. They want them to spin off the Xbox division, and Bill Gates was in an interview and he said if the new CEO wanted to spin off the Xbox division, so maybe they're nervous about it. Maybe they feel somewhat desperate, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Microsoft has a ton of cash in the bank. If there's anyone out there that could be thick, it's Microsoft. I know Nintendo's doing well too. They have a bunch of money in the bank as well, but Microsoft they're listening to the consumer. They're listening to the fact they're pissed off that they have to buy a Kinect. And they're actually paying attention to what people have to say, and they aren't going to continue, at least, to try to shove the Kinect down people's throats. So I actually applaud them for this. I think it's a smart thing. And now the playing field for 8th gen is more level. About to say level. Now both Microsoft and Sony's offerings are both the same price point, which makes the market more competitive. A more competitive market means more innovation, means better products for us, and we win as consumers because now the playing field is more level. So this is a win-win all around. Okay, there's one thing I almost forgot to mention. And there's a lot of guys out there. I see a lot of guys, especially if you're like 20 right now, in your early 20s, late teens, and you went out and jumped and bought an Xbox One. You may be feeling a little salty right now, and I understand that. But you have to understand this has happened a shit ton of times. When you first buy a console, okay, you are an early adopter. You're taking risks with the hardware. You're going to be spending the most money. You're going to have the least amount of games in the beginning. This is how it goes. And I realized you guys who were like 20, if you bought the Xbox One in 2013, that when the previous generation started, think about it, 8 years, you may have been 12 or 13 years old. So this may be your first generation where you were an adult and bought your own console. So you may not realize that this kind of stuff happens all the time. You're an early adopter, you're taking risks with the hardware, you're going to spend more money, and maybe 6 months down the line, they'll cut down the price, or they'll come out with a bundle, which is a better bargain than just buying the launch console. So buyer beware. When you first buy, if you're one of the early adopters and buys a launch console, you're taking a risk where you may be spending more money than you want to, and something like this may happen. So you kind of learned a lesson with this. I've seen it enough. I'm an old fart, so I've seen this happen in the past. But if you're younger, this may be your first adult gaming generation, so you may not be used to this stuff. It happens. Just, you took the risk, and now you're kind of paying the price, because if you didn't want the Kinect, probably should have waited. But no one, even myself, I knew they were going to make a Kinectless Xbox One, but I did not know they were going to act this fast. So kudos to you, Microsoft. You listened. You aren't just going to sit there and be stubborn and go, la, 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 la. I just want to keep putting the Kinect down people's throats. You're paying attention. So I applaud you for it. I can't hate on Microsoft for doing this fast. All right, guys, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.